Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Card Advantage podcast. It is Thursday, January 6th, 2022. We are getting a little bit of a late jump on the recording this week, so this will be going up right after we record it. What's going on, Bunk?
Not much, man. What's going on with you?
The same old, same old. One of these days, something will be going on with you, sir, that you'll be able to share with the folks. So we are going to be running through a relatively quick episode this week. The elephant in the hobby, so to speak, is the Topps purchase of Fanatics. Before we actually give our 2 cents and walk through a few things, I'm actually going to drop the interview that Michael Rubin, CEO of Fanatics, did on CNBC yesterday. Definitely some read between the lines points in this interview, so we're going to run that real quick, and then we'll hop back in here.
I called you a stone cold killer yesterday when we were talking about this deal, because I thought it was so, from a deal perspective, this is like deal making in a remarkable way. You managed to get this license with the MLB, swoop in before Topps was able to actually do their SPAC and also get their own deal in place. They'd had a deal in place for decades, and now you're buying Topps. So let's just reverse a little bit and talk about how you even decided to do this and strategically how you thought about it. Because I have to assume you went into it thinking, okay, if I get the license first, then I could go make a separate deal with Topps.
Well, let me first, good morning, Happy New Year's. And I want to say, I think of myself more as a sweet, nice, kind individual than a stone cold killer. But, the way we really think about this is what's in the best interest of the fan, in this case, the collector, and also the sports properties that we work with. So we're always thinking about how can we reinvent a business that's going to be better for all the constituencies involved. When we do that, in the case of the trading card business, what we did in our original merchandise business that we call Fanatics Commerce, we will go back and buy different pieces of the business because we think that's a way to get to scale and bring in pieces that we need more quickly. So it's not unusual for us to say, hey, we've got a new vision, a big idea. It's going to be better for the fan, better for the collector, better for the sports properties, and we will buy pieces to move more quickly. And that's exactly what we did here. Now, certainly in the case of Topps, we looked at this as the best brand in trading cards, give us a bunch of infrastructure to be able to go more quickly, to be able to start 4 years earlier with baseball, have global capabilities. So it really did give us a bunch of expertise, the team to move more quickly. That's something we're very excited about.
And just so I understand, in terms of branding, I think there was a view originally that you might try to brand these as Fanatics cards, but now you have this Topps brand. So how's that going to work?
Yeah, the brand on the trading cards is absolutely going to be Topps. Topps is the best brand in trading cards. They've been in business for 70 plus years. Collectors love the brands. One of the things we want to do is have the continuity of the Topps brand, not only for baseball trading cards, but as you know, we also at the same time made deals with the NBA Players Association, the NFL Players Association, and we think Topps, again, is the best brand in trading cards, will be great for collectors.
In terms of the price, we were talking yesterday.
All right, we're going to jump out of the interview here. The rest of the conversation is all about the valuation and the CNBC business side of things. So what's your
we don't have a number on, right? The 500 million was just speculative, right?
They talk about it. 500 million is roughly what it is, but they only bought the card part of it. The candy and gift card part of the Topps business remains in Topps possession.
Which they rebranded and called it Bazooka something.
Yeah, it's Bazooka. So Topps held on to that. They gave up the card part, which Fanatics acquired. They talk about the valuation of things, and basically Rubin said we got on the same page very quickly. The deal got done very fast, and everybody got what they wanted. So, what are your thoughts here as far as this acquisition, and what do you think is coming up for this transition from Topps to Fanatics?
Well, we know brand sells, right? And to his point, Topps been around forever. That's what everyone knows. So I think it's brilliant by them to get it as soon as possible and put it on their their name with their cards. Now, how's this going to work though? Like next year's Topps cards are, oh, I mean, it's made by Fanatics. It's owned by Fanatics, just called Topps, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, from what, like, if you listen to the rest of the interview, he talks about, the guys from Topps wanted to make a deal to take care of their people. So it seems like nothing's really going to change for the time being. Anything that's licensed by Topps, which is not only baseball, but also soccer and F1, will continue to be printed with Topps. But the difference is now Fanatics, if they want to create new parallels, new brands for those sports, they can, because
or take them away,
or take them away.
I hope.
I think that will come in more into play when basketball and football is involved. I mean, but Rubin makes it really, really clear that he feels that Topps is the best brand out there. And, he also states that when they can start doing football and basketball, the return of your Topps Chrome and Stadium Club and, some of these other Topps brands will more than likely be something that gets brought back.
Dude, 2025 Topps Chrome football, provided it doesn't get pushed back 5 years,
yeah,
going to be amazing.
Yeah.
That will have so much hype for it coming back.
Oh, football and basketball. Topps Chrome football and basketball hasn't been in play since 2009, 2010, somewhere around there. So, the evolution that can happen and now you'll have some parallels and some other cool graphic design cards and whatever. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they don't wind up buying Panini, that, what's going to happen to those brands and whether or not the whole 17,000 different brands get shrunk into just the Topps universe. And, there's just more scarcity amongst, base cards and some of that. And I mean, that could revive some of this, some of that part of the industry.
So as it stands right now, when the licenses expire, Panini could just go on and be Panini and just, much like baseball, just print cards with no logos ever again.
Yep.
Which is sad because I'm biased to Topps because I've always been more of a baseball fan than anything else. But I've said it before on here. Some of the best looking and better looking cards and creative cards are done by Panini.
Yeah.
So I would love to see Panini baseball products with a MLB logo on it with the job they do with some of their inserts and creativity.
So from some of the take it for a grain of salt, some of the sources, guys like, Mike Gio on Sports Card Nonsense or Ken Golden or Jeff from Sports Card Investor all seem to think, they're quoting their, quote unquote inside sources that the Panini deal is, there was discussions, but right now is dead. I mean, what can happen in the next 5 years? Who knows? But, there's been a bunch of people who said that they tried to make those negotiations and get in now, and the Panini deal just didn't happen.
Now, you would know this better than me, but say Fanatics acquires Panini. Are we looking at some sort of monopoly type situation here? I mean, is that bad?
As far as like an actual, government involved monopoly that they control the entire space type thing?
Yeah, some sort of antitrust problem or...
I mean, if you look at it, Panini makes unlicensed cards. So, they control the license.
Only for baseball.
Only for baseball, but I mean, other companies can make product. I mean, Leaf still makes unlicensed
Nobody's stopping
stuff.
you from making product.
Exactly. You can come along. I mean, monopolies and antitrust stuff is like, you're prevented from doing things, but I would highly doubt that would be the case. But as of now, it doesn't seem like they're going to buy Panini. It just seems like they're going to roll with Topps. I still think Fanatics will have its own version of a Prizm. They won't call it Fanatics. They'll make up some new brand name, and because they have the facilities now. They have the printing capabilities.
Yeah, which is all they need, which is what they were basically lacking. I mean, I know they have their own cards, but probably not the quite operation that Topps has.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Fanatics, would you create, make up some brand and make it look similar to some of the stuff that Panini's rolling out? Nice flashy patches and autos, and having the actual MLB logos on it. I mean, that would make sense to me, and just print it either with a Topps logo or have some sort of other brand.
Yeah, and then you got to figure they're going to cut down. I mean, because they he was clear on other interviews that they're going to kind of seems like they want to cut down on the total number of releases throughout the year. So if you're going to create some of your own stuff, that means some of our favorite yearly tops releases may be disappearing as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see a transition of, shake things up a little bit, trim down some of the releases, and then also, I mean, we'll get into this a little bit more in the next topic that we talk about, but I want to see distribution change. The hobby is an inner circle, and distribution right now, if you have access to allocation, gives you a massive advantage in so many different areas. So I would like to see that change a little bit too. But and we were talking when we were chatting yesterday. You mentioned something about the rookie logos. Wanted to talk about?
Yeah, yeah, no, it's just there's been a lot of talk going on because Bowman's best this year, as labeled by Beckett, has put guys like Wander Franco, Julio Rodriguez, Adley Rushman, and maybe a couple others, and they're labeling them as rookie cards. Uh, they're claiming long-standing rules that have been in place, which are true. I mean, long-standing rules in place with the MLB Players Association, yada yada yada, on what defines a rookie card and what doesn't. It's just really bizarre that you're going to label the first Wander Franco, the 2021 Bowman's Best Wander Franco card a rookie card in the checklist. It doesn't have a rookie card logo, and so none of these cards I just mentioned have a rookie card logo on them. But in the checklist, they're labeled as rookie cards. And in 2022, those same players are quote unquote won't have a rookie card, but they'll have the if you look up it on Beckett's website, they'll have the rookie card in parentheses. So it's a whole nother
Yeah, that's,
definition. So
that's weird.
they're just confusing people.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. So the 22 Wander cards will all have a rookie card logo on them, but they're not considered his true rookie.
Well, I mean,
So
in another few years, when all this is under the same umbrella, maybe it'll clean it up a little bit.
yeah, I mean, you've seen the example all the time. Like, even if you go back to Mantl's cards, his 51 Bowman's his rookie card, but what's the one everyone knows?
52.
The 52 tops, right? So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's going to come down to what do collectors covet it more, and what are they going to gravitate towards? So are people going to go after 2022 tops Wander flagship base and parallels,
Yes.
or are they going to go after the 2021 Bowman's Best because that's his quote unquote now true rookie card?
No, I mean, now that you mix in this is the first year of Fanatics tops and Wander and the rookie card logo, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. I mean, that it's going to be appealing for that.
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, Wander's base card in this year's Bowman Best is selling for like 10 to 50 times more as Bowman's best card from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But what it mainly, to simplify, what it really comes down to is one of the rules is if you have a player and it's not in a, like Bowman's Best always used to be 65 veterans and 35 prospects. So the way they got around not ever putting a rookie card on the prospects is because they were in a prospect set. So as long as they were in a prospect set, you could never meet the criteria for being a rookie card. However, Topps, for whatever reason, decided that the whole set's veterans, but they put in all the top guys. So Adley Rushman, Julio Rodriguez, all those guys are in there now. And now because it's a veteran set and there's no other prospect, it's a mostly veteran set. That's why they have this rookie card designation.
Gotcha.
Without having the logo on it.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll keep you posted on all this stuff as the 22 baseball products come out, and we'll be talking about that more definitely as we get into springtime.
What do you think? Base flagship Wanders are going to outsell 22s are going to outsell the 21 Bowman's Best Wander?
As the first, I guess official, Fanatics Topps product, I think it'll have a special connotation to it, similar to 2012 Prizm. That people regard first Prizm type stuff. So we'll see how that all plays out. I mean, I think over the next few years, there's definitely going to be infusions of excitement. You know, with the changeover from Topps and Panini to Fanatics and whatever else may come. And I think you'll see a lot more athlete involvement and a lot more of the relationships that Fanatics has with professional sports and integrating cards into that. And, you know, Luber as the visionary behind all of it, you know, it's going to integrate into pop culture, NFTs, professional athletes, celebrities. So I think that there will be another spike in interest at some point in the future.
So in eBay listings 25 years from now, I'm going to see first Topps Fanatics cards being advertised as.
Possibly. I don't even think it'll take that long, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be next year.
Yeah, and as soon as somebody can figure out a way, as soon as somebody wants to, they'll put it on there so they could try to get an extra 10% on their card.
Huh.
All right, so we're gonna move along here. Any last thoughts before we move along on Topps and Fanatics?
No, I mean, I got to look forward to see what they're going to do. And I'm mainly just interested in production and what is it that they're going to cut. And if they're going to be adding some of their own stuff, which I look forward to and embrace, but what are they cutting because of it? Because, again, very clear that they weren't just going to keep rolling out product after product after product.
Yeah, that's the only gray area right now as far as when is the, you know, what's going to be the rollout, what are they going to cut, what are they going to keep, and, you know, is there going to be another brand, a new brand that gets introduced into all this? And then, I mean, people also have to keep in mind there's 4 years left on the basketball football deal with Panini, so we got a long way to go before.
But can they put out with their new, you know, now they have their own customer service and production teams and facilities, can now they just roll out Fanatics basketball with Fanatics logos, with no logos?
They could if they wanted to, but I think that cheapens the product. I think they'll probably wait.
Wait.
They have enough, you know, baseball, soccer, and F1. I mean, soccer and F1 exploded.
You're globalized right there.
Exploded in 2020 and 2021. So between those three sports, there's definitely enough that they can start establishing. If there is a new brand, start establishing those, and then once they can get access to football and basketball, I personally think it would cheapen the product if you release something for the next few years just to be in, and then start slapping logos on it once you get the license.
Right.
So
that's fair.
All right, so let's move right along. We're going to talk about what could possibly, once the details get released, the biggest sale in hobby history that literally nobody is talking about.
I could tell you why nobody's talking about it, but you're very passionate about this topic.
Well, I'll let you chime in once I.
No, go ahead. Tell the story first.
Once I go over the details.
People know what you're talking about.
So the deal that I'm referring to is a guy by the name of Shine on Instagram, and Ken Golden bought a collection of sealed wax and graded slabs from Platinum Card Breaks. For those of you who don't know, Shine is a pretty popular person on Instagram. He's a 7-figure collector. He's made multiple 7-figure purchases in sports cards and Pokemon. And Ken Golden, obviously owner of Golden Auctions. And then, you know, Platinum Card Breaks is one of the larger breakers out there. They are definitely an OG breaker. They have been around for more than the last, 2 years of the hype. I think they've been around for something like 10 to 15 years as far as breaking is concerned. So, they had a massive collection that, per a post from Shine, which was reposted by Golden, that the sealed wax part of it was 8 figures and the slab part of it was 8 figures. So combined total, you're looking at a bare minimum of a $20 million sale, but more than likely probably closer to $30 or $40 million. Nobody seems to be talking about it. I don't know why. I mean, it potentially is the largest deal that ever has gone down. So you're smirking and whatever over there. So what are you thinking as far as, does nobody just give a shit, or
I just don't care.
yeah,
I don't care. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact we don't know the details. We don't know, did he have how many cases of 2003 exquisite basketball did he have in there? We don't know the details of what was bought. I think the bigger story is the amassing of all this stuff and how that came to be, which is I know what you're
y-
not happy with. But in terms of the
yeah,
actual sale, I know no details. I don't know anything they plan on doing with it. I have to assume they're all going to filter half this stuff through the auction
yeah,
anyway,
through Golden.
to make some of their investment back. But otherwise, yeah, I did a search today. I can't find anyone talking about it. And my first gut instinct was, I don't care. It doesn't affect me at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens in the hobby that people get excited about. I mean, any post of some card that gets pulled out of a break that sells for $25,000 or whatever, it doesn't affect me at all. But everybody goes crazy and talks about all this shit.
True.
I mean, the thing that the the the, the point that I want to talk about is how Platinum amassed all this. And it to me, it leads to a bigger point. Obviously he's been around. If you watch any of his content, he pretty much 90% of the stuff that he breaks is cases. He doesn't fuck around with these individual boxes and any of that stuff. It's cases only, and he's literally got 3 or 4 guys on staff that break around the clock. I think they're on air somewhere between 16 hours a day, roughly. And my beef is that you took basically an insider trading type of look at this, and the fact that you're getting allocation of valuable items that you're getting at 25 to 30% of retail. You're keeping some of that back for yourself, and then having everybody else pay for your your own personal collection. And to me, it's like that $30 million worth of product should have been out in the hands of the people that your customers, versus you saying, well, 2 cases for them and 2 cases for me, and you keep all this stuff. I mean, literally, if you read the post from Shine, he's like, there were rooms, not room, but rooms of wax and slabs. And it's like you literally kept all this stuff for yourself. You ripped all this stuff for yourself. And, I think there's an inner circle of hobby people who have access to allocation and, or wholesale or distribution or whatever you want to call it. And the inner circle of people, rich get richer, and everybody, and the schmucks that buy into all these breaks are just helping these, not only you're helping pay for these people to get rich. And it rubs me the wrong way a bit.
Did he break a law or a rule?
He didn't, of course not. And I'm not saying that he did anything illegal. I'm just saying it rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah. Hey, listen. If he's under no obligation to sell it, and it's not an unwritten rule to sell it, I get it. He got it at a fraction of the cost, and he had the savvy wherewithal to
Right. Don't
pump this stuff away.
Let's calm the fuck down on savvy, okay? Because sports cards been around for 70.
The guy now has $40 million in his pocket.
Yeah. Well, let's calm down on
Savvy.
savvy. Rewind the clock 10 years, 15 years, give us allocation, and we'd be doing the same damn thing. I mean,
All right.
there are so many.
If I was getting wholesale, yeah, I would do the exact same thing. I'd sell half, I'd open half of the other half, and I'd keep the other quarter sealed.
Yeah, there are
That's
so
exactly
many.
what they did. I'd grade everything in the quarter I opened.
Yeah,
and that's how I would do it.
there are so many card shop owners, breakers that are now millionaires because they had access to this allocation and stuff that they should have been selling to their customers that they kept for themselves, and just got rich. And obviously some of this slightly jealousy as far as not being able to have access to that same thing, but you see it even today. It's like when stuff's getting given away, and it's like, oh, we're giving away $40,000 worth of stuff. It's like, motherfucker, you got this for allocation. You may have spent $5,000 on it, and you're making this big deal about all this stuff that you're giving away. And I don't know. I have a problem with making the common person the schmuck and paying for things that are way overpriced, and you're just sitting back and getting rich on it. And it's not just him. There's a lot of dudes out there that are doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the rules are anymore in terms of how you qualify to get direct from Tops, etc. I know a long, long time ago when I looked into this, and I'm going back probably 20 plus years. The main rule was you had to have a storefront. You couldn't now, again, that many years ago there wasn't all these so the online presence wasn't
Well,
there, so
it,
it
it
made
may
more sense.
it may
But
still be similar because there's a lot of guys that are offering up, wholesale, so to speak, like pull wax, for example. Those guys are basically a bunch of kids down in Florida that have a shop, and they advertise on their Instagram all the time. It's like, if you're a breaker and you're looking for wholesale, contact us, which means basically if you're a breaker and you can't, and you don't have a storefront or you don't have access to getting stuff below retail, then this is what you need to do. And don't get me wrong, some of these guys that are out there breaking and hustling and doing whatever, hats off to you. It's a pain in the ass business to run.
Platinum have a storefront?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Because then I don't know how they're getting their stuff.
Well, I mean,
And maybe they didn't get it as cheap as you think.
There's no way.
I mean, for the volume they do, they must have a deal somewhere.
Yeah,
But
dude. I mean, come on. And those guys
I
break.
get it, but I'm telling you, I really think the rule was you had to have some sort of storefront. That's why I think a lot of these breakers, to your point earlier, I don't think they're crushing it as much as you think, because I don't think they're getting those kind of prices.
If you look at
Your LCSs and those kind of places, maybe.
there are two people that come to mind that I will not name because I don't want to shout people out. But if you look at their come up, so to speak, over the last 18 months on Instagram, they went from working full-time blue collar jobs to, hey, I just bought a house, or hey, look at this brand new, studio that we're opening, and whatever it is, to rip cards, and we have this new facility, like money being spent, and if you rewind when they were grinding 6 months ago, 12 months ago, they were making, $35,000 a year at a 40-hour job, and, trying to bust their ass. So there's money that came through this. And, you have to have a fat profit margin in order to do the volume they weren't breaking cases, they're boxes, so they're making money somewhere. And
I don't know what to tell you, guy.
No, I mean, it's not a matter of hostility. It's more just a matter of, for the smaller guys, but just the pure volume of this, and just the amount of the inner circle of this that get rich off of it, and the guys that are working their day jobs and buying into these breaks and just getting absolutely hosed, while the people that are selling the break spots are just the ones that keep getting richer. I mean, to me, that's
the nature of the business, guy.
It is.
The only thing I'll agree with you on is I get it. Like, you got this stuff at a price because the price you got it at was with the intent to sell it to a customer, and then you just bankrolled it all. I mean, I get that. I mean, I'm not.
Man, it's like if I work at
not gonna lose sleep over it.
No, and I'm not either. But it's something that I wanted to bring up and bring to the forefront, and circling back to the conversation that we had about Fanatics. I mean, that is something that it seems like in the conversations and interviews that you hear with Luber and Rubin, is that they're looking to change that.
In terms of their distribution.
Yeah, I think they have the distribution channels, and I think they're going to look to go more straight to consumer and cut out some of the middlemen, because if Panini sells it to their distributors for 20% of retail, and then the distributors sell it to the wholesale guys for 25 or 30% of retail, and they make their markup, and then those guys sell it, for full retail, then there's a lot of levels in the middle of people getting paid that don't need to.
Right.
If Fanatics can go direct out to either consumer or card shop owner or breaker, and sell it to them for 50% of retail versus 20% of retail to distribution, why the hell wouldn't you do that? You can make.
Well, they make money that way too.
Yeah, they make a fat amount of money, and you can potentially lower the price of boxes and cases and get this stuff out there into more people's hands.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean you can't have super high-end product, but if you make it more readily available and get more people into it, you'll still do well on your mid to high-end stuff.
Yeah, I would agree, and that's in the next few years. That's what I would like to see happen. I would like to see it more readily available. Get the prices down. I mean, some of the new products that are coming out, Mosaic again, $750 a box. And there's
Wait, Mosaic Football, $750 a box?
$750 a box.
Ew,
Yep,
that's disgusting.
that's what it was last year.
For one hobby box. Were they really?
Yeah, $750 a
Oh,
box.
I didn't realize it was that high. I know it was August, but
Yep, and so Mosaic at $750 a box with 2 autographs from what turned out to be a much worse class than anticipated. There's no way you're making your money back on that
think
stuff.
about that. $750 for a hobby box of cards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, it doesn't even talk about Prizm or Immaculate or Treasures or whatever. I mean, I'm sure
Prizm's gotta
Prizm.
be what? I mean, it was 1K. It was over 1K last year a box.
What, Prizm?
Yeah.
Yeah, Prizm was 1,500.
Ugh.
And it'll be at least that high this year. And that brings us perfectly into our next.
Yeah, when's that coming out?
Our next set of topics here is product releases, delays, and whatever. So Mosaic, the big football releases that are coming up, is Mosaic is next week, the 12th, at $750 a box.
Breaks on those are going to be ridiculous.
Yep. And then you have
Who am I chasing in that? Mac Jones, maybe Trevor. Trevor's thrown 2 touchdowns in the last 9 games.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing. It's like, are you paying a premium? When Mosaic came out last year, it came out in August. So these guys hadn't hit the field yet, and everybody's hyped on Tua and whatever. This year, are you buying Justin Fields or are you buying, Trey? I mean, Trey Lance has looked okay in his last performance. Helped me win a fantasy championship. Just throwing that out there. Are you Mac's the only real guy that you're chasing? I'm sure people are still going to be hyped on Lawrence, but guys like Zach Wilson and Justin Fields, are they the next Tua as far as the hobby is concerned? A whole lot of inflated hype and then worthless.
I can't wait to see what the initial sales of those quarterbacks go for.
Yeah. So
doesn't mean they're donezo, but
no. I mean, it's going to be a matter of an initial FOMO and then a huge drop off, because all of them, with the exception of Mac, are going to be done when these products come out. This is the last week of the regular season. Bears aren't in the playoffs, so Fields is out. Garoppolo's coming back with the Niners. I don't know if the Niners are making the playoffs or not. So either way,
Jets are out.
Yeah, Jets are out. Jaguars definitely out.
Jaguars are out.
So if you're looking for rookies, wait until these products come out and then give it like 30 to 60 days at least. And I mean, look at some of the pricing history of what happened with Burrow and Herbert in the offseason. Like, if you want examples, and those guys played well. Like,
and they tanked hard.
Yeah. I mean, Herbert, rookie of the year, and still tanked in the offseason. That combined with where the hobby was and, where the hobby was over the summer, had a lot to do with it. But, anyway, Immaculate Football out on the 28th. That is going to be $12,000 a case. So that would be 6 boxes. So that's going to be $2,000 a box for Immaculate. What else we got? And I think the other big ones, you have.
What'd you say? Prizm was in March.
Yeah, Obsidian comes out in the beginning of February. Contenders comes out in the second week of February, and then Prizm is the next big one. Phoenix at the beginning of March, limited, and then Prizm slated for 3/16, March 16th.
That's going to be a month before the next NFL draft.
Yep. So I don't know who's like super hyped about Prizm football in March. You know, everybody's getting ready for baseball and spring training, and so my advice for football, you know, and if you're looking for rookies and stuff, wait until May or June. I, being new to the hobby in 2020, was, you know, as soon as Mosaic came out, I went out and bought a whole bunch of singles and got real excited, and you know, all that shit is now worth 25% of what I bought it for. You know, guys that, you know, had huge rookie hype, even guys like Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson has had 2 solid years as a pro, but he's a running back and his cards are worth next to nothing. Yeah. And you could buy yourself a really, really nice Antonio
RPA
Gibson
for
patch
nothing.
auto. Yeah, for $30.
20, $25.
Yeah. So if you're fans, if you're collectors, if you're investors, whatever you are, just wait. Wait for the hype to die down and then get your opportunity.
Well, if you're an investor, I mean, I don't even know how you begin to make money in football, to be honest with you.
Oh, buy it raw and grade it.
What? Well, yeah, other than grading.
And then the other thing that I want to talk about real quick before we wrap up, we aren't doing an investment segment. That basically was our investment segment. Wait for stuff to die down. Before we move on, the last note is there are pro uniform products coming out for this year's rookie class for basketball. I think most notably you have Hoops, which comes out tomorrow, and then what else? Donruss comes out next week, and then you have, I mean, this is where it gets weird, because like the following week after that, you have last year's 2020, 2021 Flawless, and then right after the same week, same day, you have 2021, 2022 Donruss Choice. So you literally have 2 different years of products coming out on the same day.
Yeah, it's confusing, but if you're a diehard, you're just buying into whatever anyway, I guess. But
yeah, so it's the first. It's the first of those pro uniforms. Learn from this year's, you know, early football that there's going to be a huge amount of hype for guys like Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green and Mobley when their first pro uniform comes out, and people will get this stuff graded and try to sell it for exorbitant amounts of money. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. That's all you got to do. And last but not least, Joe Burrow hype is bananas.
Yeah, it is. Considering the number of Joe Burrow cards I've shipped in the past week.
Yes, full disclosure, we took the opportunity. We've been sitting on some Burrow stuff that we bought, and we sold it all. You know, the hype is real, and you know, my whole thing is this is not the time to be buying Joe Burrow. This is the time if you have Burrow or other guys that are hyped and you're looking to flip. This is the time that, you know, you're getting stuff's coming back to where it was and you're selling it. You know, we bought some Joe Burrow stuff over the last year or so and literally have made profit on all of it and dumped it all. So when the hype train starts rolling, that's the time to sell. It's not the time to buy, or else you're going to be the one left holding it back. All right, guys, short episode. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up?
No, I'm good. We'll get back to this on regular schedule Tuesdays next week.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks all for tuning in. Episode 41 in the books. If you have any questions you want us to answer on next week's episode, send us an email, info@sportscardadvantage.com. Follow us on social media, SportsCardADVTG, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a good week, everybody.